The Ship of Fools. I remember it started when I was 11. I began my antisocial transgression by waiting each night till my family was asleep. Then softly and swiftly I would silently creep to the TV room, to the video recorder, to my VHS tapes all lined up in order. And I'd pick out the right one for the night, and I'd find the right place, my fingers so slightly trembling, remembering. I'd watched them so many times, I knew all the words, all the cuts, all the takes, and when my friends heard, they'd get me to recite them in the playground at lunch, whole episodes of TV shows reeled off in a bunch. Or often I wouldn't even watch the whole show, just sit there hitting buttons. Stop, rewind, go. 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 It was enough repetition to drive anyone insane, and that's exactly what was going on in my brain. Neurons were shifting, synapses out of order. I'd developed obsessive-compulsive disorder. I was 23 when I received my diagnosis and was given medication in extremely high doses. The treatment was drastic because I'd reached a state where I'd sort of begun to hallucinate. Horrific sensations in my wrists. It was horrid, accompanied by a certain knowledge that it would all be over, never have to go through it again if I took a knife and sliced open those veins. I showed up at Emerged with bandaged arms. The psychiatric nurse was hardly alarmed. I told her that I couldn't cope. She gave me 10 diazepam in an envelope. Then there was this time I sort of got myself confused and created a conspiracy relating to shoes. The soles of your shoes being made out of rubber insulate messages being passed between one another, between each person, creating a series of schisms which is the necessary basis for capitalism. There are other instances too, which right now I won't recount. You'll just have to wait till my biography comes out. There's still a lot of stigma around the so-called insane, people who get scared by what goes on in our brain. And I read in a book by Michel Foucault that back in feudal times, they'd tell them where to go. The sentence for breaking society's rules was to be sent to sea on the ship of fools, sent away from the functioning masses to rollick and cajole and make themselves asses. Sounds kind of fun when you put it that way, which brings me to my second point today, that sometimes mental illness is also fetishized. And I can't count the times that a number of guys have said, stop taking those meds, don't swallow those pills. Can't you see the pharmaceutical industry is one of society's biggest ills? You're an oracle, dude, like a total soothsayer. In all of these lies, you are the truth sayer. Can't you see how subversive you are? You're dangerous, man, like you've gone too far. And I think, yeah, sure, that's fine and dandy, but I'm not exactly going to be very handy, hanging from a noose or bleeding in the bath, and this mental health gig ain't always such a laugh, and if I'm dead, it don't matter how queer I act. The status quo remains fundamentally intact. So I signed myself up for a hospital stay to see if there's a way to make me more sane. And by sane, I mean functioning as a full human being, capable of emotion, but capable of seeing things in perspective, communicating effectively, choosing your battles, reacting selectively. I showed up on the ward and handed them my belt, my shoelaces, cigarettes, headphones, and felt a little bit like I was going to prison, and my roommate was Butch, which completed the vision. But soon I saw a psychiatric ward as more like Big Brother without the applause. Just a bunch of crazy characters locked in together and scenes play out, and we're all wondering whether Shelley will get discharged at the end of the week and who will replace her place in the clique. It was fun, even though we were under observation. The mentally ill make for good conversation. But then I fucked up, crossed the divide, got sent over to the other side. Psychiatric Intensive Care Unit. That's the real loony bin, like the whole one flew over the cuckoo's nest thing. They said, now I hope you'll learn your lesson, pay penance for your sins of self-expression, and stay safe, because even though this place is a dive, we still kind of want to see you alive. They did their best by me, watched me closely each day, but I'd still fuck up and they'd take my stuff away. Temper tantrums, crying, screaming, cutting, bleeding, burning, needing somebody to hold my hand. They drag me away and I'm banging my head. They tie me to the bed with restraints and a chemical injection, and I'm begging the nurse to change her inflection as she reads me to sleep from my anarchist tomes. In a forced and feeble and monotonous drone, she says, "Don't you know salvation comes through Jesus Christ alone?" I say, "Shut up, bitch, we all need to find our own way home." I start to drift off in a chemical cloud. My mouth is closed, but my heart screams out loud, "I'm bigger, I'm better, I'm stronger than this. I won't bow at your feet, but I'll give you a kiss. I'll show you salvation, what it really looks like. 10 lucky strikes and a red 10-speed bike. A custom-made treehouse built on public land. Anarchist mental health center. Come on in, we'll hold your hand. We'll show you freedom and happiness. They really exist. Take the apple, young Eve, because knowledge is bliss. We'll all hug each other and have group hugs together, and we'll play cowboy tag in the meanest of weather. And each Friday night we'll host an event. Invitations to everyone we know will be sent. We'll eat vegan hot dogs straight out of our hands and thank Mother Earth for the use of her land. Then some superstar with a shiny guitar will get up and say, "Well, we've come this far." He'll sing songs about beauty and falling in love, about people who don't cut themselves and people who hug, people who lie down prostrate on the ground and stand up the other way and turn their whole lives around. And sometimes there'll be songs that we've never heard, but we'll all sing along because we'll still know the words. And when we think it's right, we'll play by the rules. Otherwise, we'll sail right past them on the ship of fools.